Oh, look at Del the Baggies in there. Have Arsenal made any progress from last season?
Such a waste. I mean, really poor execution there from Arsenal. Really poor.
Not is that, and Arsenal are out. What a terrible, terrible week for the Gunners.
Yeah, he's there, and he's not going to go away, certainly tonight. But I can guarantee you, by tomorrow, we are fully focused on Wolves, and everybody's lifted, because what we still have to play is beautiful.
Now, Arsenal fans, if you listen to this guy, Goldstein, you're horrible. It's purely aimed at Del and Benty. All right? As Ipswich stuff is aimed purely at producer Joe, it's Del who had to give me £50 of his hard-earned money. 50. Bear in mind, Del has never bought a drink for anyone, ever.
He was more devastated that you left it out during the meeting as you placed it firmly in front of his face.
On the table.
Yeah, it was
He's
good.
devastated, isn't he?
He looks so angry.
Yeah.
I wish everyone could see him. He looks spiteful. That's what he looks right now. He looks spiteful, yeah. Looks like he's going to do something to sabotage the show.
Imagine, well, his team did that yesterday. Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta spoke following his side's 1-0 smashing defeat to Bayern Munich, which saw them crash out of the Champions League live on talkSPORT last night. He actually made a few excuses for their horrific performance.
Well, we haven't played in the competition for 7 years. We haven't been in this position for 14 years. There is a reason for it, and we want to do everything fast forward, super quick in one season, and I thought we had the capacity and the quality to be in the semi-finals, because the margins have been very small. But those margins, some that are coming from something else that maybe we don't have yet, and we have to learn it.
What did you make of Mikel Arteta's team selection tactics, players, etc.?
I thought the left-back choice was very interesting. Mm-hmm. I think obviously bought Zinchenko in last year, and he went with Kyrgios in the first one, and then to not play either and go with Tomiyasu, I think that shows that he's clearly concerned about that left-hand side. That's an area that they're going to have to look at next year moving forward. I think most Arsenal fans are probably still calling out for that main striker, that nasty striker that's going to just go in there and score goals. But the team isn't too far away from being perfect, I suppose.
Perfect?
Isn't, though, is it? You've got wingers who are quick, direct.
You need a number 9, right?
Yeah.
They haven't got one. Kai Havertz is not the answer. Right? No, he's not, though, is he? He's not.
I'm with you. I'm listening.
You need cover for Saka, right?
Yep.
I think Saka's a brilliant player, but the last few weeks he looks so tired and there is no cover. He seems to be playing every single game.
So then what you're talking about is the bench getting better?
The bench is quite embarrassing.
Mm-hmm. So you're going to have to move on from probably, just looking at now, Nketiah, possibly Zinchenko, Partey's probably going to go, Smith Rowe would have to go, Vieira's going to have to go, El Neni, Reece Nelson. They were the ones on the bench to look at. So if they can get rid of those guys for a decent fee, you're probably only going to replace them with 2 others.
Okay.
So now your bench depth, your squad depth is going to go down, unless their youth team. I know they've got some good players in youth team, but unless they're really ready to come in,
a big step up
and take them to the next level, which is going on to win the Premier League and then obviously getting further in the Champions League.
Let me ask you: are Arsenal any better off now? And they've had improvements. They've spent money, so they've spent round about 50 million on Timber, round about 65 million on Kai Havertz, and around about 100 million on Declan Rice.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're talking over 200 million pounds.
Yeah.
Are they that much better off than the Arsenal side we saw last season?
Yeah. In my opinion, yes.
I
think Declan has made them closer to competing. I think he's been in a wonderful position of just galvanising that team from a transitional point of view. From go forward, they're attacking. He allows them to play 1 in midfield whenever they're a more dominant team. Every time they normally go 2, like they did last night with Jorginho in there. He allows them to play 1 in the lesser games against lesser teams where you can go bang, go get after it. I don't think they're that far away from being consistently title challengers and consistently in and around this position.
But that's not enough, is it, for Arsenal to be a consistent title challenger?
It depends who you ask, because I would probably say, isn't this why you kind of got rid of Wenger at some point?
But Wenger was a winner.
Not towards the end.
No, but he was right.
Start.
I mean, he was revolutionary when he took over there.
Absolutely. But there was a big transitional period. And I think United are going through this to an extent now, where you're always looking back at that iconic manager. You're messing around with a few different managers to try and find the one that fits, while trying to get rid of some dead wood and then bring in new blood.
Mm-hmm.
You can't all be City. You can't all be City. And
no,
you can't all be Liverpool.
I think you have to be realistic,
Mm-hmm.
right, as a football fan. So
that sentence doesn't even go together. You know that better.
Good point. I'll never get that those 5 seconds back. But with Arsenal,
yeah,
I sort of feel as though their fans think they're closer to success than they actually are. I think the fact that they got close to City last season but then fell off a cliff.
Mm-hmm.
And they improved what they did, right? Yeah. And it was around about this time last season, actually.
Yep.
Then they brought in players, right? And I totally agree with Declan Rice. I think he's a fantastic player, worth every penny.
Yeah.
Kai Havertz, I'm still not sold on, even more so than playing that false number 9. That's just.
I'm still not sold on the goalie.
Okay.
I'm not. I just don't see. I know they wanted to get rid of Ramsdale or have competition is the new word of saying we want to replace him.
Yeah.
But I don't think you replaced him with that standout goalie where you go, oh, that's my goalie for the next 4, 5, 6 years. Do you get what I mean? I think in a year's time we're going to be looking at Raya going, oh, is he the reason we can get over the line or not? Because he's made a few mistakes this year, similarly to what Ramsdale did. But
do they need a new goalkeeper then?
It's not an urgent matter, but when you look at the team and you start looking around, Timber coming back at right back, that will help with him and Ben White. Potentially could go to a 5. I think that's what the plan was last year, but obviously with injuries have changed it. They definitely need a left back. They need another option in there in midfield, and they definitely need a striker. And then they need some depth on the bench,
and maybe a goalkeeper. So when does challenging become winning? I mean, how many seasons do you say? And I know this is going to be aimed at Mikel Arteta because we're talking about Arsenal.
Yeah.
But any manager in this position that keeps effectively knocking on the door and keeps spending money, when does the board, when do the fans go, okay, we expect a return now?
Absolutely, and that's a question I posed to you off air, wasn't it? I think, obviously, I know quite a few Arsenal fans. I've got quite a few in the household, unfortunately. But my question to them was, when does the expectation come? So the first year was a write-off halfway through the season. It is what it is. Year 1 was getting rid of your Ozils and people like that. Year 2 was so close last year. And year 3 seems to be a case of no one really had any expectation. So is next year the year? It's probably a question we should ask the listeners. I don't know what the expectation is, but I think he's moved them forward. I think they're in a situation now where they will expect to be in the top 3 for the next 4 or 5 years. Mm-hmm. And as you say, does he in the next 3 years, does he have to win one? Because he can't just win the FA Cup, because that's what Wenger ended up getting the chop for that, because they were winning the FA Cup, we weren't good enough.
What I will say, right, and I'm going to be kind to Arsenal now, is that I do think winning breeds winning, and they have to win something, right? Now, the big prizes are, of course, the Premier League and the Champions League.
So do you think they have to go and buy from winning teams then? So they need to go and buy players. I know everyone's going to go, we bought Jesus and we bought Zinchenko. What I mean is, do you go and buy somebody that was pivotal? So like when a Gundogan became available, they should have went and got him, because he played a pivotal part in Man City.
Jorginho was a winner when they got him, right, won the Euros.
Yeah, but
no, but I'm just
but not in the same way that they are trying to play football. So you need to be in a team that's similar, that is attack minded.
Yeah,
I don't think the Italian team was attack minded when they won the Euros.
No, of course not.
And then also I think Jorginho's been good, by the way, this season. But I think like Gundogan was available, Riyad Mahrez was available.
Yeah.
You never see Arsenal in for those kind, but there might have been, but we never hear of them being in for those kind of people.
No.
And I think that's what's missing.
But they went through a phase where they were buying like Willian, for argument's sake, right? Yeah. So they were buying players that you would assume were ready-made and come on the back of a successful spell.
But Willian is more to the Jesus Zinchenko type. What I'm saying by that is those people that played 5 games, missed 2, was on the bench for 4 games, and come back in. I'm on about people that were more starters over the course of their career at Man City, at these places that are used to winning. They start more and now they're coming out of the team because there's new blood and they're moving on. Do they need to go and get those players that are used to winning and have that expectation?
Well, I think what they need to do, personally, is find. And it's easy to say it now. You see what Chelsea have got, but someone like Cole Palmer, right? Mm-hmm. You know, we know an exceptional talent. I mean, this is so easy for me to say in hindsight because no one else saw him, right? But I would imagine there are other fringe players at big clubs around Europe that can't get in that will be fresh and new to a team like Arsenal.
Absolutely.
But they need something, right? They need to push on.
I think they need. I think there needs to be a question, and this is probably more a question that we could probably ask Arteta if we ever got the interview. It's more, do you have to get a rogue player? So they had a natural goal scorer in Aubameyang, but didn't fit the ethos of what he wanted to do. Now you've got more players who have the ethos and know what they want, the hard work, etc. Do you have one maverick that is an outlier? That's where I go with it. I think an Ivan Toney, but I've been on record. I don't think Mikel wants Ivan. I don't think it's his type of player.
No, I agree.
So I could see Ivan go to Chelsea, for example.
Yeah.
But I think, is that the question now? Is it all about the philosophy of the team moving forward, or do you have enough people in the house now that you can go, right, we're going to kick on with another person so we can have an Ivan in there?
Let me ask you this. We're going to take calls in it, right? So just a couple of yes or no questions.
Yeah.
Are Arsenal moving forward under Arteta?
Yes.
Will Arsenal win the Premier League or the Champions League under Arteta?
Maybe.
Okay, that's not a yes or no, is it?
Because, well, Klopp's moving on. If Pep decides in a couple of years he's moving on, then yes. So there's a few moving pieces.
You think he's the right man for the job?
Yeah, and as you know, mate, when I say things, that they get pulled back up 2-3 years down the line. So just as of right now, I'm not sure.
talkSPORT Drive. Super opinionated sporting debate. Monday to Friday afternoon from 4 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.